doing a bike ride. My buddy Andy Chapman is getting his run in. I think he's doing about 10 miles today. And I volunteered to do a little bike ride with him, so I'm kind of following him. He's a little ahead of me at the moment. I had to stop by and get a few shots of some cows, some of the farmland. But I'm about to follow him. Looks like we're going up to on the levee. So this is the levee near LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So, but hopefully after this we're gonna get together and have a little chat. The plan is to talk a little bit about healthy practices, what's important these days. We'll get to that in a little bit. Andy Chapman is a career educator. He is in his 16th year of service to the East Baton Rouge Parish School System as assistant principal at Glasgow Middle School. In January of 2018, Mr. Chapman established a Strong Men Academy, a character development program that mentors 8th grade boys, connecting them with a greater community through projects promoting physical, mental, and spiritual fitness, preparing them for life as independent, thoughtful men, capable of accomplishing their dreams and giving back to the community. He is also an LSU and Southern University alumni, father, and a husband. In 1998, as a high school wrestler, he set the record for the most pins in Louisiana history. He went on to have a successful MMA career and won a national championship in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He also won the only bodybuilding competition he ever participated in. In the last 3 years, he's competed in triathlons and completed his first Ironman in May of 2019. He is currently training for a Boston Qualifier Marathon in June and an ultra marathon in November. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus towards the end of 2019, I've become much more inspired to not only live a healthier life for myself, but to inspire others to live a healthier life. So, I thought I'd see if I can gain some knowledge from having a conversation with him. What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Nice ride.
Had a good time.
That was fun.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I like. Why'd you couldn't dress up nicer for the interview?
Right.
Are we supposed to get any good advice from somebody that dresses like this?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna be me. I feel like if I'm giving advice on taking care of yourself, a taking care of yourself look should translate. I don't know, maybe
right?
Not. We'll see.
If you're following me on my channel, I really want to encourage you guys to make the most of the time. It's April 3rd, and we're in the middle of this quarantine.
We're in the middle of a collective health crisis.
Yes.
And you would think
that is the point.
That the appropriate response would be a collective health conscience, but that's not what I'm seeing. It would be the logical shift, because what people don't understand is some people think they have the fixed mindset of, well, I'm out of shape, well, I'm a smoker, so if this thing gets me, it gets me. And by the way, it's pretty conclusive from all the evidence we've seen, if y'all don't know, that it's taking the elderly most, but this extreme elderly. It's taking people that are extremely out of shape and have health conditions. Diabetes 1, diabetes 2, a lot of hypertension, and obese people, smokers, and that group thinks like, well, it's here, it's too late. That's not true. Cells in your body regenerate every 21 days. The basis of their regeneration and their productivity and their livelihood and how good they are is the microbiome of your gut. So if you start eating healthy today, in 3 weeks, your insides are going to change for the better. Your immune system is going to improve for the better. Now, it doesn't necessarily reflect it on the external.
Yeah.
But people do have to realize, like, your external appearance is it's a symptom of a problem. So if you look out of shape, you know, you look in the mirror and you're kind of not where you want to be looks-wise, it's probably a symptom that you're not taking care of yourself on the inside. And at the end of the day, your insides are what matter way more than these outsides. So it's not too late to change that. Same thing with the smoking. Even if you're smoking 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, quit it, and in 3 weeks, your lungs are going to regenerate. So if you were to catch this, which I believe in over the next 6 months, about 50% to 80% that they saying, like, people are going to get it, whether they're asymptomatic or whether they're like intubated in the hospital. It's a matter of, over this next month, while we are quarantined, while we're not mixing with people a lot, what are you doing to get yourself healthier and ready for when it does come your way? How can your body either completely reject it, which it can do, or how can you be a person that doesn't get extremely affected by it?
Yeah.
And there's things that we can do right now for that. And then it's like, if you spend the next 3 weeks, month, 2 months, while maybe your life isn't so busy, forming these healthy habits, once they're habits, you just keep them going.
Yeah.
You know, I've said forever, I'm like, the 3 things in my life, if I could really, really zone in on, if life just didn't get in the way, is my exercise and fitness level, you know, my diet, and my time with my family. And so I'm
the
living,
opportunity is upon you.
I'm not working right now. I'm living my best life right now.
Yeah.
Because everything is just, you know, getting that exercise in.
Yeah.
Taking that edge off.
You're not playing video games, eating Oreos?
I don't play video games.
But video games are so fun.
I've heard.
Oreos taste really good, too.
I've had them. Yeah, they do. They do indeed.
They really figured something out with that shit.
Yeah, no doubt. But, you know, I'm spending time with my son and my wife a lot. And I am trying to subtly, because with my wife, you definitely have to subtly instill these things. And my wife's always cooked healthy. She's wonderful, babe. Love you. But you know, I'm trying to move more towards a plant-based diet. Still eat meat, maybe once a day. When I say meat, you know, more chicken, eggs, fish. Stay away from all the processed stuff.
Yeah, I've done that myself. I have my own experience with trying to go vegan for a while, and really just that process itself really made me appreciate veggies more and really realize how good they are. I have introduced meat back into my diet. I just try and look for healthier meats. Like, I try and get wild game as much as I can. Those are animals that are living a happy life.
Right.
You know, it's like it's better meat. They're not confined to a small space and not that they're tortured, but like they live a happy life. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I was vegan a couple years ago. Did it for 8 weeks.
Really?
I trained pretty intensely though. You know, I mean, you saw me this morning. That was a light run. I went vegan for about 8 weeks over Mardi Gras 2 years ago. Dude, felt the best spiritually centered I ever felt in my life. But I started to break down.
It definitely cleans. I can relate because my body started breaking down. I felt like I was missing something.
Like I was breaking down. Like I felt spiritually, like I said, great. I felt healthy. But then, like, all the training that I was doing, and there was a lot of training that was going into a half Ironman, I got sick, and then I got sick again, and then I got sick a third time in an 8-week period, and my coach was like, bro, it's that vegan diet, dude. You're iron deficient. And sure enough, I went to the doctor, I was iron deficient. But I always said about it, it's not about what you're not eating, it's about all the things that you're eating that you never have before. So since then, I've been a lot more plant-based, and now I'm kind of making that shift back. I even did keto a while back just to see what it was like. I try to, embrace these experiences, see how they make me feel.
Yeah.
keto didn't work for me.
And that's what I want to encourage like people to do is like, don't take anybody's advice. Like you have to experience it yourself. There's no way you're gonna know what the right thing is. I think it's different. That's really different for everybody, you know, and depending on their lifestyle.
Take the time to, the restaurants are closed. Cook food, and cook healthy food, and realize that you can cook healthy food, and it tastes great. Like I've been making stir fry lately. Mm-hmm. It's really good, and it's like almost all vegetables. I might throw a little bit of chicken in there, or I might throw, some. I did some the other night with some chicken liver. Mm-hmm. I try to eat those organ meats. Organ meats are really good for the gut biome. Bone broth's good for it. A lot of vegetables are good for it. Microgreens. Yeah. I don't know if you heard of the microgreens.
Why do you want to worry about your gut biome? Is there more of a...
Well, all the science in the last 10 years has been around the gut biome and how much it affects everything in the body. Mm-hmm. How much it affects the immune system, the digestive system. And I'll give you a quick rundown and an example of that, okay? So there's these little tiny microbes down in your gut, in your intestines. And they're smaller than cells. And they're like little tiny bugs, right? And they eat and help break down that food when it gets down in your gut. Mm-hmm. Well, different microbes are formed based on different foods that come in there. So when you're eating bad stuff, like a lot of the sugar, we've been talking forever about added sugar, and it's terrible for you, right? Too much of it. What happens is those microbes that form when you eat a lot of sugar crawl up out of your intestines, and they crawl all the way up into your stomach. And then they start eating through your stomach lining. And then your contents of your food isn't just going through the digestive tract, it's leaking. It's called leaky gut. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of leaky gut. Mm-hmm. And it's the cause of a lot of major problems. And it's all about that gut biome and how you're developing it and how you're harvesting it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things we do for the gut biome are probiotic, prebiotic. A lot of the probiotic stuff is stuff like yogurt. People like yogurt. I'm not a huge dairy fan, but some people are. If you are and you're doing it, yogurt's one of the best things you can do for the probiotics. I do a lot of kimchi. Sauerkraut's another one. I prefer kimchi to sauerkraut. Sauerkraut's kind of...
I've been doing the sauerkraut.
Yeah?
And I'll do... I cut out milk as well, but I do... I will do some yogurt every now and then, like Greek yogurt.
Yeah. My dad makes yogurt. My wife will make some yogurt. And it's good, healthy yogurt. Like I said, I found personally, and like you were saying a minute ago, it's all about your experience and how it's working for you. Diet is one of those things that is very particular to a person, I believe. I don't think there's any perfect diet. Yeah. There's any right diet. I will say the definitives, though, are the things that are terrible for you. Yeah. We can definitely say that too much sugar, too much processed food, processed meat, and it's such weird in Louisiana, dude, and it's so normal here. Like red beans and rice, red beans and rice isn't that bad. Well, it's sausage, and sausage is like pork that's been processed and then put into this tube, and that's not normal. It's not good for your insides. It's bringing your cholesterol level up. It's bringing your fat levels up. It's just not good for you, and we're so indoctrinated to it. It seems normal. Mm-hmm. We think of like fried chicken or like a cheeseburger, like that's bad, and yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. But like sausage, like jambalaya, is not bad. Once again, it's got sausage in it, and it's like got a crap ton of sodium in it, and it's like cooked in a pot with a lot of oil and grease. So sometimes you got to break it down. Mm-hmm. And really look at what you're doing. But going back to some of the good, the healthy stuff, there's some prebiotics out there, and they kind of set the tone for your body to create their own probiotics. Oatmeal's one of them. It's a good one. A lot of your polyphenols are good, and polyphenols are your berries, your darker berries, blackberries, blueberries. Apples are actually polyphenols, cherries. Those are some of the healthier fruits you should eat.
That's good. It's good to know.
Yeah. So, and
you know more about this than I thought.
I mean, I try, you know.
That's good.
You know, I'm not just a jump jock after all, right? So, yeah, but then there's things that kind of help line that gut biome, and they help your lining, because the lining of your stomach is just it's a mucousy layer, and it's supposed to be there, and it's supposed to prevent certain things from like puncturing and going through the gut wall. So things like bone broth, you know, and if you don't want to drink bone broth, which by the way, it tastes great, but if you don't want to drink it, you can make soup with it. You know, and you can go to a local meat market and get the best bone broth, or you can go to Trader Joe's, you know, and theirs is probably not as good as the organic stuff, but it helps line that gut, man, and really seal it off. People, have you heard the thing about lectins? So lectins are like things that are in beans, little chemicals in beans
I have heard.
that break down and that can puncture through the holes of that gut. But there's a lot of beans I like lentils. I love lentils. It's a great source of protein. They taste great. They cook well. If that gut lining is healthy, then the beans aren't bad. If it's not healthy, then the beans are gonna eat through it. So there's a few different things, but like I said, all the science behind the gut has been over the last 10 years, and it's increased exponentially over the last few years. And now a buddy of mine's a big time ENT, and he says that there's a microbiome of the sinus cavity, and it's related to the microbiome of the gut. So it's like all of the body's systems and health stems from that microbiome of the gut. And what are we feeding it? I used to believe exercise was more important than diet and fitness. I don't believe that anymore. I believe what you put in your body is going to determine how your body functions. Now, I do believe exercise is big and it's important. You know, I mean, we weren't born with legs so that we could walk from our bed to the car and drive to work, and then walk from our car through the parking lot to go sit down at a desk all day.
Dude, that reminds me, I gotta say, when my lifestyle changed when I moved to New York. So I was living mostly in places where I was driving and walking to, just like you're saying. But when I moved to New York, and I remember it was probably the first time I ate out somewhere, and then I had to walk to my next destination, or walk to the subway and then walk to my place. I remember on that walk feeling like this digestion happening, and being like, I'm like, oh, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're not sit in this position, eat. We only walk like 30 feet or so to our car, you know, most likely 50 yards maybe. It's just mind blowing, dude. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it was like I saw a post on a forum the other day about somebody saying like, oh man, the Chinese are giving us their fake numbers, and who knows if they are or not. They're a communist
government.
government.
That too, by the way. But anyway.
but they were like, oh, the Chinese aren't nearly as healthy as us, and I'm like, what?
Actually,
I'm like, you think the Chinese are less healthy than us? Like, they might have some worse air quality, okay? They probably do have worse air quality. Their hygiene's probably not as good, but as far as their health, man, they eat clean. They eat clean food. They're not eating crap all day. I don't know about their smoking percentages. Probably wasn't what with ours. They move all day. Yeah. Very few of them drive. A lot of them work like physically for a living. If I worked like a lot of those people do physically for a living, I wouldn't need to go run 8 miles this morning. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's actually what got me to eat more vegan, is I read the China study. And actually reading that, they also talk about a lot of people in China, and it wasn't just their diet, it was the lifestyle and the diet combined. And a lot of it was about a certain community where they biked a lot. And that's what, when I moved to New York, that's what encouraged me to. I was like, man, when I move there, I'm just gonna bike everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Well, you look at the country that's had the best numbers through this, and they're kind of, I don't want to say over it, but they're definitely on the downturn, is South Korea. People in Korea, you know, they're a capitalist democracy. It's not like they're under strict regime control like the Chinese, but they eat healthy. You know, and people say, oh man, I've been to this restaurant and that restaurant, it ain't that healthy. It's because you've been to the American version of it. You've been to the American Korean barbecue place where they dump all this stuff in there so you'll like it better than the other place down the street that's just as fatty. Yeah. You know, it's like Mexican food. Like, what's the most unhealthy American food there is? Probably Mexican food. Well, guess what? In Mexico, they don't eat a half pound of queso with their meal. You know what I'm saying? Their tortillas aren't quite fried in vegetable oil as hard.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny.
Oh, it's true though. It's true. I mean, look, I love the United States.
Yeah.
You know, I love our freedom. I love our ability to choose. But in general, a lot of people are like kind of lazy and eat like terribly. And I'm just scared it's becoming such the norm that I used to think, oh yeah, everybody knows what's healthy to eat and what's not, but they don't.
Yeah. Or they don't care. They don't.
I guess if the majority of people are eating like crap, I can eat like crap, and I'm just going, and life will keep going on. And
yeah, I just hope this time people start to, wake up a little bit and take care of themselves. That's the only thing you can do right now, is to develop a good workout routine, eat better, and get your mind right.
Yeah.
Stay away from all the fear.
I agree.
Right? I mean, that's all you can do. Mind, body, soul.
Mind, body, soul. Yeah, the fear stuff, man. So there's science behind that. It's like when you get fear, number one, if you're a spiritual person at all, know that fear is the opposite of love. And you cannot share love and love people when your brain is full of fear. And the actions that fear make you take are indeed the opposite of the actions that love will make you take.
Wow, I appreciate it. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, so fear is the opposite of love.
Well, yeah.
So the action that the fear makes you take,
I never thought about it that way.
Is the opposite of the action that love makes you take.
So if you're operating under fear, you're going to make a decision that's completely different than if you're operating under love.
Correct. But let's go to the science of it. When you have fear in your body, it secretes a very powerful hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. When you're under stress or when you have fear, it takes over. So on a physical level, it tells your body to store all of its nutrients as fat. So store fat. So that makes your body worse. On a hormonal level, it suppresses your immune system.
Because it's more worried about
survival.
Fighting.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. It's just unhealthy. Fear is unhealthy. And at the end of the day, it's our choice.
So fear decreases your immune system. So that could be part of the reason there's so much fear going on right now. Like it's almost palpable when you walk in the room and and you meet certain people.
Right.
It's like people could be just getting more sick just from being so fearful.
Well, it's definitely bringing.
I would think it's contributing.
It's bringing their immune system down. So I'm a sober guy. In about 3 weeks, I'll be 11 years sober, right? And so they got this prayer: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So here's the wisdom: what I cannot change is that coronavirus is here. It's here. It's going to spread around. Now we're doing this lockdown thing, and hopefully it's going to flatten the curve so it doesn't spread so quick. But what I can change is, in the meantime, I can take care of myself physically and mentally. And physically, we talk about it by the exercise, by the diet, especially the diet, man, because a lot of us have a long way to go on the diet. And then spiritually, with just not entertaining the fear. Not if you're hearing, Napoleon Hill said, like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if all you're hearing is negative stuff, you're probably a what?
Negative person.
There you go.
Just inherently.
Yeah, so I get away from it. I move it out the way. No news is good news. So if you listen to the news, I know you feel like you are being informed, but there's a difference between feeling like you're being informed and actually being informed.
It's true.
Right here, you can find more right here through like meditation and like prayer and stuff. Yeah. Than somebody on a television. They're not doing anything for you. They're doing zero for you. But if you make this connection, if you spend the time meditating, if you spend the time exercising, if you spend the time making your food, you are taking care of yourself. And then you're modeling how to take care of yourself and how to do it correctly to everybody that's around you.
I just did a Facebook post where I asked, all my followers, I was like, yo, where do you get your news from? And the majority of people surprised me. I mean, said what I agree with was to look at all news sources and kind of come to a conclusion. Some people, I have an aunt that said none, and I was like, word, I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
I totally do. And then the only people that I was like the most worried about were those that said only one mainstream. If you're gonna listen to the mainstream media, I would say at least listen to two different sides, but
And they're all bought and paid for, man.
they're all bought and paid for it. It's divide and conquer.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there has to be, like, a lot of them are liberal, and I get why they're liberal, and it is what it is. But then, like, the big conservative one, that's a 40% market share, and it's like, oh, no, we got to make it, so...
Gotta cater to them, too.
Yeah, we got to make money off of these people because they're going somewhere. We might as well be the ones that say all this, hoo, whoa, yeah, America, whoa, yeah, Trump, like, so they can get their market share. But they're just making money off of you, dude. And once again, no news is good news.
That was one of the best things I heard from my Facebook post. When somebody posted, I only pay attention to, like, what's in my immediate vicinity. That is, like, the definition of, like, being more present. And, like, what else do you need to stress out about?
No doubt. Like I said, it's this time right now that you're not overwhelmed. You're not so busy. If you are overwhelmed, step back and say what's overwhelming you. And if it's this fear, this idea that, remove it from your life, okay? Because it's going to make you effective at what you do need to focus on, or that maybe you should. What you need to focus on, your body, your exercise and your diet, and then your soul, and your head, your peace. So, and your family, those that you love. Like, a lot of people have said, like, if life didn't get in the way, that's what I would spend my time perfecting. So right now, if you're not working, you got a lot of time to work on it. If you are working, you got a lot less time that you're probably going out. You got a lot less time you're going to eat at restaurants. And you need to cook at home. And you need to try stuff. Just try the healthy stuff. And appreciate a taste for it. And when you cook it, appreciate a taste for it. And you can slowly step into that. I'm to the point right now that, like, when I cook vegetables, for example, I make sure I don't put too much oil in there. Because, let's say you're eating 16 ounces of, like, zucchini and squash, right? Mm-hmm. And 16 ounces of zucchini and squash is good fiber, it's good nutrients, it's good vitamins for your body. It's probably 80 calories. But if you put, 2 tablespoons of olive oil in that zucchini and squash to make it a little more tasty, right? That's 240 calories. It's about 80 calories for a tablespoon of olive oil. So now 2/3 of what you're eating is oil, and 1/3 is actually the vegetables. So dial it way back. That's where I am now. But I would say that...
See, I never realized that.
I will say this. Eating the vegetables and putting some olive oil on them right now is still better than the cheeseburger.
No.
Yeah.
It's
still better than probably what you were getting at the restaurant. I've been trying to eat clean for a while, so now I'm going the next step with it, and I'm saying let's take the oil off. Because I want to eat mostly vegetables, not mostly oil. Make the most of the moment. It's here. Like, you have the time to focus on everything that you want to better yourself. And in the process, you will be better equipped physically, mentally, spiritually, health-wise, to fight COVID when it comes to your doorstep, which it probably will at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say it when you were talking about the media, brainwashing, okay? We are all brainwashed. We all are. Those of us that are successful and that are happy, we control what is brainwashing us. We decide what diet we're putting into our mind. So me with the health stuff and the microbiome stuff and the gut stuff and really wanting to eat healthier, the diet stuff, the last few weeks when I've been on the bike, I listen to podcasts a lot on the bike, and I listen to a lot of self-help stuff, and I like it. It makes me feel better. It makes me do things that I need to be doing to allow myself to feel better, right? So I decided, I've brainwashed myself with all this good positive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I brainwash myself with the diet stuff? And I have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening to about 3 to 4 hours of diet people, mainly the microbiome of the gut stuff, per week for the last few weeks, and it's really helped me change my habits and my behaviors with the diet. Like I said, I made the move from the vegetables with the oil to mainly just the vegetables, maybe a cooking spray on the bottom of the pan so they don't burn the pan, but outside of that, I'm eating vegetables, But it's been through that brainwashing I've done it. So we can either be brainwashed by the media and by Facebook and by negative people around us, or we can choose what we put in here. And when we choose what we put in here, it's usually going to be correlated to what we want to put out. And it will equate to what we put out and what we accomplish and what we achieve. Or even if it's not achieving, even if it's just spending more time with my kid. You know what I'm saying? There's not a number for that, but there's a fullness in the heart that comes with that because I've been telling myself to do it and I've been drilling home the importance of it, that is the result of it. Your behaviors are going to be a reflection of what you put in your mind. James Allen wrote As a Man Thinketh in 1898, and it's a 14-page book. If you got time to read a 14-page book during your quarantine, during your time that you can't do anything else, check that book out. It's huge. In 45 minutes you'll have the whole book read and you'll be like, holy crap, this is like everything.
Yeah, appreciate that. I actually have that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good book. It's very good.
Well, so
it's,
so many
it's
books.
right on line with, Think and Grow Rich.
Well, Think and Grow Rich came from it. And then like books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they came from Think and Grow Rich. So it's like so many different schools of thought. A lot of them go back to James Allen, 1898, As a Man Thinketh.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So watch what we're consuming.
Yeah.
Don't consume too much of the mainstream.
But watch what we're consuming mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Yeah.
Watch what you're consuming physically. It has so much to do with your health and your ability to fight off this coronavirus, which you'll probably eventually get around to at some point.
Word.
And whether you're asymptomatic or if you're the person on a ventilator that might not make it, what you do between now and when you come in contact with it will have a tremendous effect on that. And you need to believe that, and you need to practice based on that belief.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care of yourself. Probably gonna go jump in the pool.
Sounds good.